Hey everybody, it is Sunday, August 27th, and I'm just going to do just kind of a short little update. I'm going to kind of try to explain some more things as best I can. Um, the way things are rolling out right now, you could see that it's it's almost escalating into a situation where you're seeing more openly. It's like a kind of a battle between, well, it's always been a battle between sort of two two sides. Uh, it's basically the old control system we're taking down, which manifested itself over a period of thousands of years in this kind of well, this global control with what we would call like the elites. Well, that's changing because we're taking them down. Uh, I mean, for us, we just thought that they were legitimately in power, but that's actually not the case. They've basically usurped everything on Earth. So, um, and if you've kind of been following the story, the storyline, it's we've sort of called in for outside help, I'll put it that way, and now it's starting to manifest itself into. Um, it's becoming more obvious now that it's you can kind of see that there's being a bit of a power play between off-world entities, and they're in a sense off-world entities on Earth already, but yeah, there's sort of digging in. But you could tell this is actually the last sort of death throes of the cabal or the controllers. They know that they're losing. They're losing control. The bigger story is what I'll be trying to explain later on because it's like I said, it's beyond just whatever's going on Earth here or locally. There's a bigger story. It's kind of a power play going on off planet, which gets kind of complicated, and then there's kind of the outside of that, kind of a greater scheme of all what's going on. Uh, so kind of how I see things playing out uh, in the near future is one of the more difficult things they're going to have to do is get us off of this financial system. So if you kind of see what's been going on, there's like the BRICS and the old fiat money system, sort of. Uh, it's starting to become an obvious split around the world because, as you know, if you've been following the story, the greatest way to control beings on this planet has been through economic control. So that's why it's not a coincidence that the controllers have basically hijacked the banking system, everything, because once you control commerce around the world, you're controlling everybody because everything we do, whether it's making clothes, food, just everything is based on commerce. So that's why they've linked it to their banking system, which is, as we all know, corrupted because they're just using our money to charge us more money to use our own money and whatever. You start understanding the system that we're under. So that's kind of what we're going through right now. And I know I've touched on it before, but the help that we've called in is they're trying to figure out ways of getting us, without a lot of collateral damage, trying to get us unhooked from this financial system, which has been such a burden, and also the medical system and judicial system, everything. It's like, so they're trying to figure out a way of separating it so that we can, it's almost like continue the story so it isn't too abrupt of a change. So that's kind of what they're doing now. And from what I'm pretty sure you guys sort of understand, there's probably a financial system, whether you call it a quantum financial system or not, but that's kind of going along in the background. It's trying to be a parallel system, and then when we switch over, there won't be such a crash. So that's kind of what I think is going to be starting to roll out, probably by the later part of this year, definitely by next year. It'll be somehow what you've been noticing on the news, like with the BRICS. I mean, because what it boils down to is we have to have a real financial system which is based on something legitimate. So we're kind of going back to the old system, which is, precious metals, things like that, which is like gold backed, silver backed. So we're going back to that system, and as you can see with what's kind of playing out is another part of that is these countries that have been manipulated for so long want their own independence now. They want sovereignty. So that's part of the liberation plan, which is going out, which is unfolding right now. But like I said, it's a slow unfolding, and I know it's painful for us that are sort of been onto what's going on, and we're observing it. Because we want to just get out of this system. We just want to just go on with our lives and like start fixing this up. So they're doing it in a slow way. That's the best way for me to describe that. Now, as far as the information I'm privy to, as far as the bigger picture, the better way for me to explain kind of what's going on is what we live in, and this is going to get woo-woo again, is a physical kind of a holodeck that us spirits have designed and perfected for billions and billions of years. So we make these worlds so we can play in them and learn and things like that. This one got hijacked. I know I've talked about that so many times. So, but instead of shutting this holodeck down and rebooting it, sort of, what we have collectively decided to do is, because we kind of like the way this was headed originally, we're trying to get it back to the way it was intended to be. It's a place to grow and experience and have a lot of interesting spiritual growth interactions with each other. So we're going to try to continue this holodeck. So it's changing. It's sort of changing, but what's making it kind of complicated and interesting at the same time is we're trying to shift gears and get rid of these parasites, these negative parasites, and let's clean up this physical holodeck that we're experiencing in, and retain our avatars at the same time. That's where it gets kind of complicated, because normally it's like a do-over sort of, which means we get rid of our avatars, whether it's through a cataclysmic thing, whatever, and then we're free spirits again, and then we decide to come into this simulator, which is a physical simulator, for us to experience things again. Well, the planet that we're on is so unique that nobody in the universe wants to destroy it, including our controllers. They love it too. As a matter of fact, that's what they've been trying to take control of it. So we're trying to, I know this kind of sounds weird and everything, but we're trying to shift everything and get rid of these negative entities and fix the planet going forward, and also retain our physical avatars, which are linked to this system. Like, we're on the same vibration. So, like I said, it's like they're trying to, you'll understand this in the future. I'm just trying to touch on it right now, but it's like changing the frequency of everything all at once, not all at once, but slowly, slowly. So, and we've known about this for probably hundreds of thousands of years. People that have come here even to try to help fix it. So it's about trying to do this in a really subtle way. It's like the Mandela effect. Sort of, we're trying to shift timelines and everything, and make this work out very positive. So that's what I've been shown, how this positive change works in the future. I mean, it's awesome, but it's kind of messy because we've got to separate ourselves from these negative entities and then kind of fix it up, fix it again, which is in a sense going back to natural. Everything's more natural and based on physical. Like I said, wealth is more it's about us as beings, not about just paper money, which means nothing. That's where we're living in. We're living in a world where the value of life was based on how much pieces of paper you have, which is worth nothing. We called it money. You know what I mean? And then also they're the ones that had all the power, and yet they've physically had nothing. It's just paper and not only that, we're going to churn it to digital wealth, which is really worth nothing. It's just a digit. It's just electronic nothing. So we're going back to physical reality in this world, things of value, and for instance, you know, more like our lessons and our experiences are going to be based on higher vibration. Well, basically about loving each other and taking care of each other. Like that's kind of what we normally do in these modules is we learn how to interact with each other in positive ways. I mean, it does get kind of complicated in some ways because we realize we do need challenges, and that's kind of how this problem started in some ways. It got over out of hand, but I'm just saying we do have negative challenges to overcome, but they're not so insurmountable and so controllable. So I'm trying to simplify things. I'll definitely elaborate them more in the future for sure. But yeah, so that's where we're heading. And hopefully this will make sense to a few of you people out there that listen to my videos. I mean, there's lots of other information out there as well to choose from. But I'm trying to explain it, that we're going through these transitional times, and you got to hang in there and basically don't comply with any rules that our controllers make, and try to stay positive even though things look bad, but they're going to churn out really, really well. Let me put it that way. I know where we're headed. So yeah, that's my little short explanation and update for this end of August. I'll probably do another one first week of September. There's lots. I think September's gonna be a pretty big month, so we got to stay sharp. Got to stay positive. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.